Welcome all to a thrilling journey through the fall 2023 anime season, where the spotlight is shining on Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Directed by the brilliant Keiichiro Saito, the mind behind Boki the Rock, this series has already proven itself to be a spectacle, capturing hearts with its immersive world, emotional depth, and stellar animation. Now, let's dive into the latest episodes and see how the narrative unfolds. The anime season kicks off with a bang as Frieren and her allies navigate a world filled with glorious atmosphere and heart-wrenching scenes. The handling of death and human connection is masterfully done, with Frieren's emotional breakdown adding a layer of complexity to her character. The passing of Himmel sparks varied reactions from the audience, setting the stage for a compelling storyline. The animation by Studio Madhouse deserves applause, making Frieren Beyond Journey's End a strong contender for the season's best anime. Overall, this was a great way to kick things off and continue delivering magnificent episodes filled with depth, emotion, and heart. From the touching segments with Haiter to Frieren recounting her time with Himmel, the anime never fails to hit viewers' souls with its well-written scenarios. Furthermore, many viewers will be shocked by how well-defined Fern is as a character this early in the story. Not only does she have a relatable personality and endearing backstory, but she doesn't hesitate to speak her mind despite her young age. Many viewers will adore her chemistry with Frieren. Their teacher-student relationship contains a great mix of amusing banter and enlightening wisdom. It'll be interesting to see how Frieren and Fern will impact each other further by the finale. Moreover, the animation still looks superb. From Frieren soaring above the field of blue moon seed flowers to her breaking down at the thought of losing another ally, Studio Madhouse deserves immense praise for the effort they have put into Frieren, Beyond Journey's End's adaptation so far. With its sincere storytelling, gripping dialogue, and phenomenal chemistry so far, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End has the potential to be this season's best anime yet. This chapter of Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, dials things back a tad, but continues delivering incredible content for fans to sit through. This episode further explores the relationship between Frieren and Fern. While both girls would make for excellent masters, it's refreshing to see how carefree both can be. It shows how they each have flaws and strengths that make them memorable. It goes to show how phenomenal the writer Kanehito Yamada is. While the fight with Qual was incredibly animated, the resolution was a tad underwhelming. Nevertheless, it was nice seeing Fern engage in her first magic duel against an enemy of his caliber.
Oh, the elf can fly. How fun!
Zoltrak.
Speaking of Fern, the anime acknowledges her age in this chapter. While this may not be a big deal to viewers, in context, it'll make some wonder how Frieren will react to seeing Fern die. As of now, we know she doesn't have a spell related to immortality or resurrection. She even apologizes to Fern for not knowing her more as a person. Although this isn't a plot point worth discussing as of now, it's something to think about as we explore their relationship more. A lot can happen in 10 years, is what will cross fans' minds as Frieren and Fern set their sights on the Demon King's castle. Although the previous chapters were great, many will appreciate the story giving Fern and Frieren a more favorable goal to accomplish outside of collecting silly spells. Considering the experiences Frieren had when revisiting previous landmarks on her journey with Fern, we can expect the Demon King's castle to harbor several differences that she won't see coming. This is a great way to build anticipation for what could result in a thrilling and emotionally charged climax for this tale. As I brought up in the episode 3 review, time is an important theme in this tale. 10 years may seem like a number to Frieren, but in Fern's case, it means a lot more than that. Unlike Frieren, she's a normal human with a time limit on her head. While death is inevitable for Fern, many may wonder how Frieren is going to handle Fern's passing when we reach that point in the story. As shown in the flashback, Frieren didn't have a care in the world for others' deaths. However, after experiencing Himmel and Haiter's passing, she no longer thinks that way. It'll be interesting to see if Frieren secretly wants to search for a way to prevent Fern from perishing. On the other hand, there's a possibility that Frieren may search for a way to strip herself of her immortality so that she can be with her friends in heaven. It's these ideas that make this tale such a joy to watch. Episode 5 introduces fans to Aizen's apprentice Stark, a coward turned heroic idol of his village. Shonen fans who grew up with characters like One Piece's Usopp may adore Stark's character, as it's possible he'll follow a similar arc in comparison. However, unlike Usopp, Stark has immense strength to back him up and incredible combat experience thanks to Aizen. Based on the fissure he created near the episode's conclusion, viewers can tell he has a lot of potential. At the same time, many fans will love how Aizen foreshadowed his apprentice in the previous episode. His conversation with Fern about Frieren being a great master may have been alluding to Stark's reveal in this chapter.
Say, Fern, is that elf a good teacher to you?
If that was the case, it might be worth revisiting prior episodes in the future. You never know what else the series' creator could be hinting toward regarding Fern, Frieren, and the other characters' future developments. Coupled with some compelling light-hearted humor and splendid dialogue, this episode gave fans a calm and insightful chapter worth watching. While it would have been great if we got more of a deep dive into Stark's past endeavors, what we received was fine. This chapter gives viewers a laid-back and action-packed experience to sit through. Not only do we get to see Stark show off his dormant potential, but it gives fans a taste of what his dynamic with Fern will be like. It was slightly entertaining to see them discuss things with each other from an emotional and slightly comical standpoint. Stark's battle with the dragon, while visually stunning, was a bit disappointing. Although Frieren and Aizen allude to Stark having incredible strength, it would have been interesting if the battle challenged Stark more. While his discussion with Fern before the fight alluded to Stark needing resolve to win him, many viewers would have preferred if the dragon gave Stark a run for his money. Nevertheless, Studio Madhouse gave fans a nice visual spectacle to observe with their impressive use of camera techniques and fluid imagery. Overall, this was another fun chapter of Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. It doesn't reach the same caliber of storytelling as earlier episodes, but delivers enough lovely material to keep viewers ingrained. As we continue following our characters on their journey to Oriole, viewers receive more insight into the cast's backgrounds and their beliefs. This episode gives viewers an introspective view of demonkind, showcasing how they love to use human speech to deceive humanity and are mostly emotionless. From the young demon flashback to Lugner's horrid plans, viewers will look at them differently. Although many would have loved to see Frieren be proven wrong about her views toward them, this is an interesting way to subvert viewers' expectations by going full force on portraying demons in neither a good nor terrible light. This episode delivers some nice touches of comedy and relationship building between Fern and Stark too. Many fans will enjoy the family dynamic the series creator Kanehito Yamada is building up between our trio, especially Fern and Stark. Their interactions together never cease to make me smile and laugh. Hopefully, Yamada continues to develop the connection between these three. It'll make the series' finale more dramatic when it's time for us to say goodbye to Fern and Stark. Sometimes it's best to take an elf mage's words to heart.
Demons these days are such a disgrace.
This mage, she took my arm! You big child!
From the cinematography to the splendid setup, this episode had a lot of stellar moments for fans to observe. On that note, this episode depicts a harsher side to Frieren's character from a physical perspective. While she's shown to be a harsh critic through her words, this one demonstrates how she's willing to send foes packing if they rightfully deserve it. While Drath displayed excellent feats, as Lugner says, he was incompetent and overly underestimated Frieren's potential. Not only that, but Frieren's brief pep talk with Fern and Stark was captivating. We've seen the two demonstrate phenomenal feats in and outside of battle. If Frieren had stepped in and fought their battles for them, it would have diminished the development they received in prior chapters, making their characters feel obsolete. Therefore, having Fern and Stark fight Lugner and Linny on their own isn't only great mentorship on Frieren's part, but it allows them to feel less wasted. Overall, this offers splendid action, great dialogue, and a nice setup for future events. After the amazing setup we received in the last chapter, many fans were excited to see what the anime's 9th episode would deliver. On top of getting a glimpse of Frieren's battle with Aura, this chapter gives viewers a splendid bout between Linny, Lugner, Stark, and Fern. While it wasn't a flawless episode, one can tell Studio Madhouse put in a lot of effort to deliver an unforgettable one for fans to experience. With motivational flashbacks and stellar choreography, the visuals were on par, if not greater, than in prior chapters. However, Frieren's battle with Aura wasn't all that astonishing in comparison to her students' fights with Lugner and Linny. This has to do with Madhouse's insistence on using CGI to depict Aura's knightly servants instead of giving them traditional designs. The CGI used for these knights may take viewers out of the experience and ruin their immersion with the scene's splendid physical and conversational exchanges. Besides that, this was a splendid episode of Frieren. It gave fans stellar cinematography, emotional flashbacks, and interesting characterization to hold them over for the next episode. After Linny and Lugner's defeat, many were curious about how the results of Frieren's battle with Aura turned out. Instead of a stylish battle between the two, the anime opted to give fans a simple suicidal-themed result for their bout. While some will be disappointed that Aura didn't put up much of a fight, the episode did an exceptional job of building up to this result. From Flam acknowledging Frieren's enormous aura at the elf village to her training her to suppress her potential, this conclusion felt right for their fight. Not only that, but this was a nice way to differentiate their confrontation with Stark and Fern's battles with Lugner and Liniel. The chilling scenario near the episode's conclusion aside, this episode gave viewers some compelling interactions between Flam and Frieren too. It appears the two were a match made in heaven, with their shared love of magic and the same disdain for demonkind. While it would have been great to see Frieren train to suppress her mana in real time with Flam, many will adore seeing them converse with each other. Moreover, Studio Madhouse continues to deliver glorious visuals, and Evan Call and his team beautiful music. Both worked in unison to envelop viewers in shock, awe, and excitement this week. Every scene felt lively from head to toe, as I found myself glued to my screen the entire time. This was another great episode of Frieren. It not only delves into Frieren's past life, but shows how strong and fearsome she is as a 1,000-year-old elven mage. I'm curious if she'll ever find an opponent who'll be on par with her, though. After the intense confrontation between Frieren and Aura last week, it made sense for things to simmer down with this chapter. Nonetheless, this episode gives us nice closure for Granite, and some interesting world building involving the Magic Association, craft, and the Goddess of Creation. With sprinkles of light-hearted slice-of-life content and enjoyable comedy, this episode will certainly give fans a cozier watch compared to the previous chapter. That said, it was nice seeing Frieren and her friends receive praise from the townsfolk. It contrasts well with their first encounter with Graf and his nobility during the earlier portion of this mini-arc. Moreover, the series' animation and visuals continue to bedazzle audiences. From simple character body movements to its clever use of stills, Studio Madhouse never ceases to amaze me with its level of craftsmanship. Coupled with a glorious soundtrack that'll ease viewers into the scenes presented, this was a satisfying chapter to sit through. Now all caught up to date after the previous episode's wholesome encounter with Kraft, this chapter has our heroes visiting a village that's said to harbor the powerful hero sword. Instead of offering a tale about how Himmel pulled the sword from the stone, this episode subverts viewers' expectations by revealing that Himmel failed to pull the sword from the stone. This was an interesting twist many will appreciate, as it plays a huge part in Stark and Fern's discussion about strength and heroism. Furthermore, it'll motivate viewers to achieve their goals in life, no matter if someone tells them they're unattainable. Himmel aside, it was nice getting to peer into Stark's village life for a bit. While many would have enjoyed receiving a bit more intel about Stoltz and his village's reasons for disregarding any signs of weakness, we'll receive more bits of Stark's past life as the series progresses. On top of giving fans a wholesome birthday dinner scene between Frieren, Fern, and Stark, this was a pleasant episode to sit through. I'm excited to see where our heroes will end up next. As we approach the halfway mark of the season, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, proves to be a compelling and well-crafted anime with its blend of emotion, action, and character development. Studio Madhouse's animation prowess, combined with Kanehito Yamada's storytelling, promises a memorable conclusion to this enchanting journey. Stay tuned for the final episodes as we bid farewell to Fern, Stark, and Frieren.